All right, so this is our truth tables lesson. Truth tables is a way to organize validity, organize true or falseness, okay? So a statement is any sentence that is either true or false. So a statement could be, I take geometry. I am a sophomore. I play soccer. Whatever. There's lots of things that could be any statement, and they are either true or they are false. And that is the truth value. The truth value is true or false. There's no way one statement can be both true and false. It's either true or it is false. And we use a letter to represent that statement. So we've been using P's and Q's a lot. Do you remember a few days ago we had like R show up on one of our worksheets and a bunch of you guys were like, what is R? R is just another statement. So if I use P, Q, R, that just is any statement. And I'll try and fill in like a statement there. The more we do of these though, it doesn't matter what the statement is. We'll just kind of do our truth validity as we go. So like an example of a statement is Chicago is a city in Illinois. Is that a true or false statement? That's a true statement, right? That is a true statement, okay? However, I can make that false by negating it. Do you guys remember the vocab word negation? What does that mean? What does it mean to negate? To add a not or to remove a not. Good. So if I change this to say Chicago is not a city in Illinois, is that true or false? That's false, okay? Not P is the negation of the statement P, and we use our squiggly P to represent that. They have opposite truth values, like you just told me. If I say Chicago is a city in Illinois, that's true. If Chicago is not a city in Illinois, that is false. And so we represent that with true and false, okay? So when I do the negation of P, that means that we switched our truth value. Now, because P could be any statement, P has the opportunity to be either true or false. So we have to check both of those pieces. When we do a truth table, basically we're just working out like all of the possibilities. Is it true? Is it false? When you just have one statement, you only have one option. Is it true or is it false? And so the negation of that is switch. So if it was true, it switches to false. If it was false, it switches to true. Okay? Now is where we do compound statements. You probably learned about compound sentences back in like elementary school, right? It's where you have two separate statements and they're combined with an and or an or. Okay. There are other conjunctions, but that's all we care about right now. Those are the only two combining words that we care about. And we'll start with the word conjunction. That is going to be a vocab word that will go up on the word wall in a second. And that's when we combine using the word and. So if I have a conjunction or I use the word and, I use the symbol of an upside down V. It's kind of like a tent, like a TP, like a point, like a caret on the calculator. That means and. I remember that means and because it almost looks like a capital A, doesn't it? So that upside down V means and. Okay. Let's do a couple examples, okay? I'm going to jump down here. We're going to put some statements here. So the statements are Julia is in the band and Julia plays volleyball, okay? So we're going to do all of the options that we can using the word and, okay? Let's say it's true that Julia is both in band and in volleyball. When I say the statement Julia is in the band and she plays volleyball, that is true because both of those things are true for our good friend Julia. She's both in the band and she plays volleyball. Okay, so one option is they're both true. Another option is that the first statement's true, but the second statement is false. When I say now Julia is in the band and Julia plays volleyball, is that a true statement? No, because what's false? She doesn't play volleyball. So I can't say she's in the band and she plays volleyball because she doesn't play volleyball. So that's false. Okay, now let's switch it. Let's say it is true that she plays volleyball, but she is not in the band. If I say Julia is in the band and she plays volleyball, is that a true statement? No, because she doesn't play in the band. She's not in the band, so that is false. What if neither of those are true? What if our girl Julia is not in the band and she is not in volleyball? And I say the statement, Julia is in band and she's in volleyball. Is that true? No, not one part of that is true. what I'm getting at here, I gave you just all of the examples. What I'm getting at here is in order for a statement to be true with a conjunction, it's only true when both are true. Only if both P and Q are true, then the conjunction, the and, is true. So now we're going to use symbols to represent that, okay? This is how we always start, okay? I could either have both statements be true. I could have the first statement true, the second statement false. I could have the first statement false, the second statement true, or I could have both of them false. This symbols represents exactly what we just did a minute ago. Are you guys all on board with me there? That's exactly what I just did a second ago with Julia and volleyball. When I decide to do the conjunction, the and between them, it's only true if both of them are true. So that first line is going to be true. The rest of them are all going to be what? False. Very good. All false. It's only true when both are true. And is only true when both are true. And I did write that up here. The conjunction is only true when both are true. Now we're going to work through my or situation, okay? Is everybody okay with my ands right now? Okay. My or is my disjunction. Disjunction, its symbol is a normal V, a normal peace sign. And it's true if one part is true. Okay, so I'm going to flip over to the back side. That's where my kind of work through this is. Okay, so we're going to use the exact same idea. Julia's in the band. Julia plays volleyball. Okay, this time we're combining it with an or. Okay, now the first one's a little funny just because of how we speak English. Okay, let's say both of them are true. She is in the band. She does play volleyball. If I say Julia is in the band or she plays volleyball, we probably want to say that's false, right? Because you're like, no, she's in both. Because both are true, though, it is true that she's in one or the other. That is a true statement. If both are true, the or value is true, even though it sounds funny in our English language. I know that she actually does both, but in a math context, or means either one or the other or both. You're probably like, that's not what we do in English class. I know in math class, if I say she's in the band or she's on the volleyball team, that's true because both are true. Okay. Now let's change it. Let's say she does play in the band, but she doesn't play volleyball. What if I say Julia's in the band or she plays volleyball? That's true. Because she is in the band. It can be either one. Now we'll go to she's not in the band, but yes, she plays volleyball. If I'm like, Julia in our class, she's in the band or she plays volleyball. Is that true? Yeah, because she plays volleyball this time. What if though she doesn't do either? And I go, Julia in our class, she's in the band or she plays volleyball. Is that a true statement? This time, no, because she doesn't do either. When both of them are false, then the or statement is false. Just like in my conjecture, it's only true when both are true. This one is only false when both are false. Disjunctions are only false when both are false. Okay? And we're going to set this up just like the last one. You're going to notice the more of these we do, every single P column is the same. Every single Q column is the same. So we'll do all of our situations again. They could both be true. The first one could be true. The second one could be false. The first one could be false and the second one could be true, or they're all false. If they're both true, is the or true or false? True. If it goes true, false, true. False, true, it's going to be true. And then false, false, false. Very good. Very good. All right. Now, when you flip your paper over, there's all of these charts. We're going to construct these charts together, okay? Your homework has most of them already built for you, but we're going to practice building them right here. I think there's maybe one that you have to fill in the top part, okay? So this is all we're doing today is we're being able to construct these truth tables, okay? So first thing we always need is our P's and Q's, or in this first one, it gives us P and R. So we're going to write P and R. And then we want to do the or between them. Do you remember, is the or the regular V or the upside down V?
Regular.
Regular V, very good. Okay, we start all of them the same. The more of these that they do, I have like a pattern for it. For P's, I always go true, true, false, false. Do you remember that's how we kind of started the other one? And then R is going to be true, false, true, false. You guys okay with that so far? Okay. Now when we do the or between them, what's my first line going to be?
True.
True. What's my second line going to be? What's my third line going to be? And what's my last line going to be? False. Very good. That's it. We did number one. Boom. Let's do the next one.
Okay.
Okay, we always start with P's and Q's. So give me a column for P. Give me a column for Q. Now we're going to do a new column with the little thing. We're going to do a negation of P, a not P column. And then now that I've done not P and I have a not P column and I have a Q column, now I'm going to do all of it together. Now I'm going to do not P. Is that symbol an and or an or? Or, very good. Or Q. What should my P column look like? True, true, false, false. What should my Q column look like? True, false, true, false. Ooh, okay, now when I do not P, I need to go back and look at what column? The P column, very good. When we negate, do you remember what that does to all of my truth values? It switches them. So what's the first line going to be? And the second line? And the third line? And the fourth line? Wow, great job, guys. Now, doing great so far. Now I'm going to do not P or Q. Which two columns am I looking at? Which two do I care about? The third and the second. I want the not P and I want the Q column. Now I'm going to do the or between them. What's my rule with or? If it is a true, there's true. And when is it false? If they're both false. Okay, so what's the first line going to be? Second line. Yes. Third line. Last line. Yes, very good. Okay. Let's set up number 3 and then I'm going to be quiet while you try and solve it, okay? Now I don't have any P's, but we'll just call the first column Q and the second one R. What else is another column you think I'm going to need? Squiggly R, not R. Very good. And then what else do I need?
Q and R.
Good. Q and not R. So then I'm ready to do all of it. Ooh, I think you can try and by yourself. So go ahead, fill the first 2 columns in like we always fill them in. Then do your not R and then do the and of it all together. All right, what's column 1 going to be?
True, true, false.
We'll go true, true, false, false. That way the first column is always true, true, false, false. And then what's the second column going to be? Good, true, false, true, false. What do I look at to do my not R? The R, so what's my column going to be there? False, true, false, true. Good. And then now I want to do the and. What's my rule with the and?
Both have to be true.
In order to be what? True. So what's my first one going to be? False. Remember, we're looking at this column and this column. So first one's false. What's the second one going to be? Yes. And then next? False, false. Good job. How are we feeling with this? Okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We got a couple more and then it's time for practice. These look like they're gonna be longer, they're not necessarily, so why don't you guys help me try and label it? I'm gonna do a P and a Q and an R column. Notice that we treat R the same way as we would treat P and Q, we just use what's given to us. What should I do next?
Negation.
Negation of,
And on.
good, we'll do negation of P in one, and then we'll do negation of R in another one. And then what? Do all of it together, right? Then we're ready for the whole problem. All right, again, I'll be quiet.
Difference between the ways that the true and false is given by the and or the or.
Say that one more time.
What are the differences between the,
True and falses.
like the true and falses between the and the or, like what do you write differently?
So remember that and is when it's true when both are true.
So
And-
you put true, false, false.
So P always goes, the first column, I always do true, false, false. And the second column, I always do true, false, false.
Does it?
That just gives you all the mixes up. If you happen to switch those and do true, false, and then true, false, I don't care. As long as you have one column that's both trues, one column that's the first one true, the second one false, one column, the second one's true, the first one's false, and then both of them false. I don't care what order you do it in.
So like. It's not different, it's not like a different order for different letters.
Mm-mm.
It's the same order for.
It's the same, I just always do the first two columns are gonna be the same thing. So no matter what letter is the first column, I do true, false. And then whatever letter is the second column, I go true, false, because I know that that's gonna get me all of the different combinations I want. All right, what's not P gonna be?
That's gonna be false, true, true.
Very good. And then what's not R gonna be? Good. And then now I have to do the and between those two, so I'm looking at the most recent columns. What's my column here gonna be? False, and then true at the end? Perfect. All right, one more example. We got a lot going on here, but let's just break it apart. Let's do a P and a Q. Then what should I do? Negation of Q. What'd you say, Becca? P or Q, good, let's do that inside the parentheses first. And then now that we have a column that's inside the parentheses and we have a not Q, am I ready to do all of it together? Awesome. Now I'm ready to do the whole problem. What you want to think about when we break it up in those different columns is the last thing you want to do is either just negate one column in front or take two columns and do the and or the or between them. Okay, again, I'm going to be quiet. You try and fill this in. All right, help me out. What's my P column going to be?
False, false.
True, false. What about Q? What about not Q? Make sure you look at Q. We'll go false, true, false, true.
So why is it false in the top one?
So Q started with true, false. So I have to do the opposite of what Q was.
Oh,
So if you went too far back and you went back to P, we're just looking at Q there. Okay, now I'm gonna do P, what's that symbol? Or Q. And sometimes I like to write it P or Q. So which two columns am I doing the or between? P and Q, the first two. Okay, what's that column gonna read? Good, all of them true except for that last one. And then now I'm gonna do not Q. And then what symbol is this? And, oh, or, sorry, that's my fault, or
P or
P or Q. So we're looking at these two columns. We're gonna do the or between those two columns. False. What comes next? Oh,
Wait, why did
it's
that-
not false. It's true, because why? It's or, it's either or. So as long as that's true, it's true. My fault. What's the next one? True, then, wow. So I know we normally have kind of a mixture of them. We got all truths here based on how it went. That is okay. Okay, I believe your homework is a front and a back. I think the front is all truth tables just like this. And I think the back is a review of like the last quiz stuff. Can we go ahead and pull that out really quick, see if we can see it? Let's see that. Yeah, is there a backside? So we in our class had 15 minutes. I don't know how much everybody on Zoom has. So you have a front side like this, and then you have a back side like that. These both sides are due next time I see you. So we have the rest of class to work on it. I'm going to turn off the recording so you don't have to listen to the rest of our class. But if you don't understand this, those of you who didn't learn this live, you have to come to office hours. Non-negotiable. Have a good weekend.